Why would I be like that?
Cussing me out because every time before this we're full of banter, full of energy, and then it says live like it does now, and then you're like, hey, I
Yeah,
didn't watch the
I don't think
episode that I was supposed to. Oh shit! Hey, so welcome to the Eric Tries Too Hard podcast, episode 132. I've been gone for a
Wow.
minute, but I'm back with good reason, and that is because Mr. Mike Moran, past guest on the show, is going to be filming slash recording his special, his album, whatever you want to call it.
Filming slash record.
Well,
We're filming it, but we're not going to record it.
it's silent. It's
It's
all
like the
silent.
70s.
Yeah, pretty. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
gonna be you on stage talking, and it'll cut to like a silent movie card screen with your joke on it.
Mm. Well, no, I mean, recording can mean visual too. It's going out
That's right.
live
It's like a film video.
like the 70s,
Yeah.
and there's no recording of it.
Oh, I got you. Oh, that's, you know what? That's what we should have done. It's just one time only.
Yeah, I'm surprised people don't do that now. Like, I feel like that could be a cool thing.
But do something that after it's recorded or whatever, after it airs, nobody ever watches it again. We do. It's called the Eric Tries Too Hard podcast. Welcome to episode 132.
Yeah, but people would be actually watching the initial one too, though.
Oh. See, if you want that stipulation, then I can't help you. That's fine. You've been on the show before. This is the first time we've done a podcast since I started doing stand-up, which was like 8 months ago. What's today?
Really?
11. So yeah, whatever. 8 months. Yeah. You think I would have gotten better? You think I would have?
No, you have. Yeah.
But I didn't. Oh, thank
Takes
you.
time.
Thank you. Oh, compliment and right back to earth. Dude, don't
No,
worry.
it's like,
Don't worry,
what do you
time.
expect? You know, it's like you're not good at it the first time you do it. Like, you're good for a new
because
guy,
I've
but
been
yeah, you're
reading-
not going to be at your best until you
I've
do it
been-
for a while.
I've been reading. I don't know because I've been reading the Reddit for stand-up comedians, and they all seem to have done amazing. 100 times.
What?
Like,
What are you talking about?
I gotta
Really?
say, everybody's story is like, I got up for the first time this week. I annihilated, packed room,
Well-
opened for Louis C.K. And like,
Yeah, that's generally how it
silly
happens.
story.
You get like an open mic slot opening for Louis C.K.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
You do really well, and then
Yeah.
it's fame time.
It's exactly. Well, that's what it always feels like every time I read about anybody else's experience doing stand-up. Then again,
I actually kind of had that a little bit, honestly. Like there are some times where it's like really good off the bat, then like you get all this hype around you,
yeah.
and that's honestly that's kind of how I was for like my first year to some degree. Like I was like the cool new guy for like a minute because I did really well my first open mic, and then like a few initial ones after that, and then I got to open for Michael Ian Black and I did really well with that, and then nothing, and then I just fell from grace and
literally
nothing
gave
ever
you
since.
15 minutes of fame. No, that was all you got.
Yeah, it's very true. Yeah.
But the nice thing though is like, I don't know. I feel like there's definitely people who actually Joe List talks about this, how he started out and was just like everyone's telling him like locally, you're amazing, you're this, you're that. He got to open for people, and then he said that was part of the reason why to like reach another level was because he just was like, oh, I'll just do one mic a week then.
Right.
You know, whatever. I'll coast on these minutes.
Yeah.
And so it was just like I feel like that kind of forces you to get better and better if nobody's giving you stuff or no one's telling you how great you are every 2 seconds.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, I think Chris Rock had the same experience where like he killed at first and then he was terrible for years because the ego got to him.
Interesting. Well, I know that the Jerry Seinfeld one was like when people ask him, he's like half and half. Well, I bombed, I did well, I bombed, did well, bombed. Just like that's how it goes. And like that kind of inconsistency is one thing that makes me with just stand up in general, because you're like, it's mostly your fault if you bomb. But there's plenty of times where it's like, I don't know, if you've done a joke that works over and over again, and
right. Yeah, sometimes it's the audience. I mean, you know, it's whatever. You just have to keep going. There's like, I don't know. There's no secret to it, I don't think. You just like 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. And definitely more is revealed as you do it, you know?
Oh, absolutely. That's something I found with music was the better a songwriter I became. Every step of the way, you had to go way back. And what I mean by that is like all of a sudden it's like something about music or songs would open up to me, and I go, oh, I get it now. I get that. But then I had to get good at that thing. Facets of your game, and it's like, well, if I've never like Bill Burr always talks about with stand up, it's like a basketball player, where it's like say some equivalent of comedy of stand up is the same skill equating to like dribbling with your opposite hand. And so it's like a basketball player can be amazing dribbling with the right hand, and then the left, it's like, oh, now I got to work on this. I got to work on my pivots. I got to work on whatever it is, my jump shot, whatever. Equating it to comedy, and I think that can definitely be equated to music too, where it's like, okay, you got this next level, kind of got to build this skill up, and then incorporate it into the rest of your stuff.
Yeah,
so that you say one step forward, 3 steps back as far as like getting better. But you've been getting better. How long have you been doing it now? What's the official time?
I think it's been 3 months or so.
Fuck so. Wait.
So hopefully I'm okay for that. No.
Yeah.
Let's see. Probably like 6 years.
I can't. You're not. Okay, sorry, you're frozen. Yeah. So 6. Okay. So 6, by the way, I'm getting all my like nervous, excited energy out right here, because you tell I'm talking goddamn mile a minute. The stage. Comment.
I thought you were like, I'm getting out all my nervous energy. I'm talking to Mike Moran. I mean, you can understand why I'm like nervous.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
No, did you ever think you would be here talking to me?
You know what? Of all the places I thought I'd be, this was certainly not it.
As a kid, when you had posters of me on your wall as a child.
And you were 6 years older than me. You were
masturbating.
You were like 12.
When you were masturbating to me as a teenager, did you ever think?
No, I was into older comics back then. I was much older. I had a troubled streak. No, it's like you even commented this on it. For me, it was just like one of the first times I hosted. Fine, it was fine. It was just like, all your nervous energy, but that'll go away. But like I definitely have. Am like exhausted before a show, do a lot better, and I think that's just because the perception. Everything slows down a little bit. Actually, the first time I ever got laughs was a day you and me, Mike, and I had just recorded an EP, an acoustic EP, and I was fucking beat. I got put up last, and I was exhausted, and any alcohol I drank had worn off. And I was just like, well, this is going to be a disaster. 5th time on stage, I'd never gotten a real laugh before, and everything seemed to get laughs. I was like, oh, what the fuck did I just do? Like, oh, because I left pauses.
I think I've been cutting down on caffeine before performances, and I think it actually helps. I think it's like being like the quiet, sedated kind of guy, like at least in performance. Kind of seems to work for me, but sometimes it doesn't.
There's your inconsistency. Not you, but like the inconsistency of stand-up.
Right.
A human being can't act the exact same way, but also seem relatable and like they're having a conversation and comfortable. I don't know. It's like that. I don't know if that even makes sense, but it's like riding that line between rehearsed, practiced, comfortable there, but also like feeling spur of the moment. Because if it doesn't feel spur of the moment, you're just talking at them.
Yeah, it's a weird balance. I mean, I guess it's just kind of like becoming a good actor, I guess, So it's like you're saying rehearsed lines, but you're making it look like you're not saying rehearsed lines, I always remember like those commercials where it'd be like actors pretending to be real people, like not acting.
They just sneak into your kitchen and start filming you while you make your breakfast.
Yeah, but when they're like, oh, they were interviewing regular people, but they're clearly actors reading lines.
Oh, or it's just
this always happens. Stand-up comedy is like. You're an actor like trying to pretend like you're not acting.
So it's bad acting.
Well, hopefully
This is
not.
bad
But
acting.
I always wondered like
Well,
why
that's
there
like
aren't actors that can
yeah.
be good non-actors. Like who are
Well, it's
good at
because
acting if
most
they're not
well,
acting.
I don't know if you know this, but most actors are extremely attractive. And what a weird coincidence that every big actor is also attractive. It's
I
just
know that
mind
is
blowing. The
strange.
odds of
Yeah,
that. The odds of that
yeah, I
is so
know.
weird.
Rock
And
stars too. Like
yeah,
there
exactly.
must be like
So
rock
weird.
bands that have made like better albums than like Appetite for Destruction or like Ride the
Yeah,
Lightning or something, but we just don't hear them because they're big fat ugly guys or something.
yeah, totally. Screaming trees. um, yeah. Well, the other thing is, if you look at a lot of bands, especially rock bands or bands that weren't like put forth by some company or whatever, like boy bands excluded, I guess, you would have, like if you really look at them on, I'm trying to think like, if you go see them live maybe, or even like Warped Tour is great for this because it's daytime or like a daytime festival.
Uh-huh.
You go look around when they don't have the cameras on, when it's not all makeup and glossy, airbrushed, whatever, like band photos. The singer's usually the only one who's legitimately attractive.
Really?
When you strip away all the other stuff, most of the time the rest of the band is just like normal looking dudes.
Yeah.
Much.
Yeah, I believe it.
But not female bands because all women are beautiful, Mike.
Yes.
All women are beautiful, and that's the message we need to take away from feminism. Not that a woman's value is based on her beauty.
Yeah.
Clearly, beauty is the only measure of worth. So that's what we should be taking away, right? Good.
Absolutely.
We need to get political. I don't know if you know this. I just found out there's an election happening, and I'm just really finally getting in the spirit. I want to learn the facts and make an informed decision.
Right. Well, I'm Whig Party all the way, so.
That's weren't they
whatever keeps these goddamn redcoats from my family is
that's pretty much it.
All I care about.
Okay. So you were I don't know enough about the Whig Party to riff on that with you, sir. I'm very sorry about that.
Typical.
So any of these Whigs are these any of these Whig? Do you think? Okay, hold on. No, during the Revolutionary War, do you think there were like just Americans who just like really were ignorant about politics?
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? Like, it seems like it was a thing that everybody talked about. Like, and they didn't have.
You
shit
think
else
there's like 12 of them? Yeah, but revolt. All right.
Are you saying like were there like people in the back mountains that just had like no clue what was going on with the government?
Yeah, like they really were just like, let me fuck my sheep in peace, and that's all I want to do, and then just red.
Yeah, but I think a lot of them, like a lot of Appalachian like rural people, were like they just didn't want any government around them at all because they came from like areas where they were like enslaved and treated like crap, and so I think I don't know. It was probably like more of a thing in their lives than it is now. Like back then, it was like really, really important. Like you might get murdered if the wrong person's elected. But I don't know.
Yeah, although some would say that concern exists today. Yeah,
that's true.
I don't know if you've been on Facebook, but there is concern.
Yep.
Switch over to white Facebook because that's
what
I heard. That's what we look.
There's a white Facebook.
It's all white people and the Wayans brothers.
What?
Because it's whiteface.
Are you joking?
Listen.
Okay.
I'm very much joking. It turns out that's not my strong.
Because it should be called Racebook if it exists.
Oh shit. That's just like, yeah, that's fair. You know what? I want to go back to is talking about the craft
of racism.
Talk about the craft.
The film The Craft from
comedy. That would be stupid. But The Craft. Film. It is true. It is the film.
Yes. I love crafts.
It's not a movie. This is that energy problem I was talking about. All my fucking killer jokes aren't landing because the internet. Yeah, that's fair. All right. So okay, let me ask you this, sir. with some of the stuff you're doing this Wednesday at Auto Bar, for your live film recording, special taping, audio, video recording, how far back does some of that material go that you're planning to do?
Well, I wasn't gonna do anything from my first year. Weirdly, like my first year comedy feels like in a different world than everything else. So pretty much everything I think would be from less than 3 years ago, but some friends of mine specifically requested that I do two specific old jokes that they really liked years ago. So I'll probably throw those in there too.
Nice. Well, the other thing is that like after your main set, but I mean we can figure it out. But like I was gonna say, like you can always encore it up, take requests, be a goddamn rock star for a minute. Just be like, is there anything anybody wants to hear? Play the old stuff. That'd be great.
Yeah, I used to every now and then I would do that. I'd be like, anybody know any of my funny jokes that I should tell? Because I can't remember them.
You're setting yourself up for heckles there. It's like, I don't know. Do you know any of your funny jokes? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Like, do I have more jokes? I remember saying that to like host once. Like, do I have any more jokes?
I feel like there was one time that happened, and I yelled out a joke for you to do because I wanted to hear it because I was selfish and I was drunk. But you might not have even asked. I might have just started yelling at you premises from the side of the stage.
What was it?
It was something about See, now I'm going through my head of the jokes I've yelled at other comedians to do, and I'm realizing I might be the problem. It was something new that I don't even. I'll remember halfway through this podcast.
I just wanted you to feed my ego there.
Me out. Yeah, exactly. But it existed, I promise, and I'm sure I'll remember it halfway through, or I'll text you about it like 3 a.m. tonight.
Right.
Okay. That's all I could think about. Oh, so I did a couple mics to. I'm hosting, so I'm doing. I'm hosting, right? That's
wait, what?
Clear.
Hosting what?
Your show. Yeah. No. I was doing. So I have 15 minutes. Looking at it, it made me realize just from this is all new comic shit, but it was a lot of it is stuff that premises I probably had around month 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
But the way the jokes are now, that's most of the jokes all came from maybe 2, 3, and 4, whatever premises. That now that they work most of the time, they look nothing like they did when they came out. And so these are all things that have been tested for 6, 7 months. And it's really cool to kind of see there are when you think about old jokes, it always, or not just that, just when comics talk about what it takes to develop material, and you're just what do you, and in my head I used to be what do you mean? You wrote the joke, the joke's the joke, how else would that happen? Now I'm is hot garbage.
Yeah.
But you can keep the theme and the point that you're trying to make, and it may be 20 or 30 versions later, and you're that's the thing.
Yeah, definitely.
To cut out, what to expand on. It's really cool to kind of look back on that and just be so these actually progressed. All of the mics wasn't just I forget who it was. It was some LA comic, on a big podcast, was talking about work attitude if you have to go out every night. And this comic was saying oh, what, you got to tell your dick jokes 100 times before it's funny? Or your one dick joke 100 times. And it's it turns out you do. You got to really get that dick joke to its exact where it really needs to be. And I get that now.
Definitely. And yeah. It's that's why I say never throw anything away. Always keep it tucked away somewhere, because you never know what. And also weirdly, stuff that doesn't quite work when you're new, sometimes the exact that exact bit will work once you have more confidence and know what you're doing more. Sometimes you don't even have to change it. You just have to be changed yourself.
But I got one. There's this one joke I had I did on my first mic ever. But I loved it. Like it worked when I said it, and then I tried it again a little bit later, and it did okay. I got some chuckles. Then I did it again, and it did really well.
Right.
And it bombed. Then I did it again, and it bombed even harder. And so now I'm like, oh, that joke just wasn't
have every
good.
single one of these remembered specifically.
Oh well, yeah, it's fair. It's all happened in the last 9 months or whatever. But like things where it was like it bombed the first time because of me,
right?
And it bombed the other times because of it. So I was like, okay,
yeah,
that's just a bad joke. There's
you want to talk to Sue for a little bit, or you can.
Well, let me tell you one thing, and then and actually no, put Sue on, but I'll start talking, and then we'll transition. Sue can interrupt anytime. Oh, thanks. Where you go?
No, we only have one set of earbuds.
Okay.
Hi.
All right, we have Sue Werner from Moran Women, the best band in the greater Baltimore, D.C., East Coast, United States region. How's it going, Sue?
Good. How are you doing, dude?
I'm doing very well. You are also.
I feel like I haven't.
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't seen you in like 6 months.
It's been.
I was like in the process of doing that as you said it. It's been.
No, it's definitely been months. I'm excited to see you on Wednesday for the Mike Moran special audio film recording videotaping.
Oh, I'll be there. It's also like the day before my birthday.
Oh, nice.
Like my birthday.
Suday Eve.
My birthday is Thursday. I'm gonna be turning. I'm gonna be turning 39. And
nice.
So I feel like I'm like not. I've never really been one of those people that's like 12 days of birthday or whatever. But
12 years a slave.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Anyway, but like,
what if there's like the 12 years of slave, like instead of the 12
days of Christmas? Where was that? Where were you on that?
It doesn't sound anywhere near as festive. But, and I don't know about the objects they would be talking about. Let's not get into that.
All right, sorry. Back to Sue's birthday.
Probably came from the same time. Yeah.
But yeah, no. So like, I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm gonna like. I would love it if people come and like hung out at Mike's thing. On Wednesday.
Well, we're gonna show up early and party. We're gonna stay late and party. It's gonna be a big thing. Mike will drink half a cup of coffee towards the end of the night. It'll be pretty crazy. It's gonna be nice.
Yeah, I'm excited.
That's cool. Well, I was telling Mike to prepare for this show. I got my set down to 15 minutes. I did a couple mics. Each one had little chunks of 5 minutes. Did my first 5, went well. I was like, good, feel good. Middle 5 at a different mic went well. To do my closing 5 at this mic, and by the time I got up there,
like okay. Oh gosh, I was confused about what you were talking about. I was like, are you using different microphones, like practicing at home, like recording? Like, oh, I got my SM58, and then I've got my SM7, and like I don't know, whatever. Okay, I see what you mean now. Okay,
you ran out of SMs to the list. I know.
Okay, gotcha.
There's a Sennheiser, whatever that one is.
You see, I'm a musician, and we don't get to like practice.
Well, you play bass
at shows.
Yeah,
we got to.
Yeah, that's fair. I did 3 different open mics with 3 different microphones in front of 3 different guys named Mike. That's what I did.
Guys named Mike.
And but the third one, by the time I get on stage, it's 3 comics who are in their phone after tanking their sets. It's not their fault their sets tanked, but they're just in their phones, miserable as shit. A bartender just wants to get out of there, and then it's 2 drunk ass Irish like 21-year-olds who have been just like ruining the show the entire time.
Like Irish, like from
Ireland,
and then
a guy
like Irish, like me.
No, Irish from New Guinea. Yeah, from Ireland.
You know what I mean?
Sorry.
You yelled right in
Are
their
they
ear.
like from Philadelphia? Are they like from South Philly, or are they like from like
We talking House of Pain Irish or
are they like
Chumbawamba
County
Irish?
Cork?
let's call it. I called them Scottish by accident when I heard the.
Whoops! Oh no!
A lot of C words. That's the kind of Irish they were.
Okay. Gotcha.
And so they've been just like interrupting the comics to talk to each other. At each other the whole time. Meanwhile, there's another drunk guy across the bar who's so drunk he can't even. He's just making sounds, like weird, crazy sounds, and like. And apparently the Irish guys at one point, someone on stage was like, what the fuck is wrong with that guy? And they're like, we were just at a bar that he was at across the street and he threw up on the bar. So I go up with my nice little polished 5 that I'm like, I'm actually, this is gonna be some like, it's an open mic with barely anybody in there and everyone's doing new shit. I'm like, you know what? At least like the people who come, I can make them laugh for a couple minutes. This will be cool. And I got up there and I tried to do 3 words and chaos just erupted.
What?
And so I just said, fuck, because everyone's yelling and talking. It's game over. I might as well not even be there.
What joke did you tell? Were you like 3 Irish guys and a really drunk dude walking into a bar?
So these Protestants, eh?
Yeah.
Well, they would have loved it. Because they said later on, I talked to them afterwards. Well, I mean, I basically cussed them out for 10 minutes and just made fun of them until I like just walked off. But afterwards, I talked to them.
That's always going to do to drunk Irish people.
That's what they liked. I knew that was going to be fun. But they told me they're like, well, the one funny joke of the night was when that guy talked about child molestation. You should have talked about child molestation. I was like, I don't think that guy was joking. I don't think that guy was joking. So lesson
learned, only talk about child molestation.
Well, here's the fucked up part. I have a joke about that. About how like all my it's still a work in progress. If I known, I would have done it. I just thought I couldn't do that joke because it was so hacky at that point. Everyone was talking about child molestation. But like, no, I have a joke about how everybody's telling me like, oh, you have a daughter. You better hope that like she develops early so like pedophiles aren't into her. And I'm like, you know how many more guys are attracted to developed girls than there are pedophiles? Plus I can beat the shit out of a pedophile probably.
That is like nobody really said that to you.
Let me count. I don't have enough fingers, Sue.
Oh my god.
The things that happen.
Really?
Wait a second. That's so weird. What?
Oh, that's
what you should be. Oh god damn. Okay.
That's what like people with your like infant daughter coming up to you and be like, oh, she's adorable. Better hope she develops quickly so pedophiles don't want to have sex with her.
Oh my god.
Strangers, mind you, just people who are comfortable enough with me to say something like that. It usually happens.
Who are you hanging out with, dude?
As somebody who's like really concerned about the welfare of like women and stuff, and like I think that like I'm like like preventing like sexual assault is one of my kind of pet issues. I've never once like thought to like say anything like that.
Well, because that's their version of
what's hoping going to do anyway? Like,
yeah, right.
Are these religious people? Like, you should pray that she gets breasts early so that that way pedophiles will be attracted to her. And like you said, thankfully, there's no men that are attracted to breasts. So
yeah.
Sorry, I won't be praying for her. I'm an atheist. Like, oh well, I'll pray for you. Oh. Thank you so much. Pray for my child's development. Who I hang out with, see football teams. That's about it.
Right.
So
I'm kneeling down next to my bed, praying for the development of Eric's child.
Oh God!
God bless mommy and daddy.
Is there anything creepier than that? That is like, there's no like it is creepy in every way you could possibly think about it. Wow.
Sister, believe me, I had the amount of, hey, what would you do if you walked in and saw me and your sister? But I'm like, dude, call the cops. She's 8. Like, what the fuck is the matter with you?
Wow, man, you got to get some new.
I think you need some new friends. I'm gonna nominate myself, and Mike Moran to be your new friends because I think your friends are kind of terrible.
That's fair.
What would you do if I came in and I was having sex with your 8-year-old sister? What?
Hey, I mean, listen, the 90s were a crazy time. People could say all sorts of
way back then in the 90s.
PC culture has run amok. That's what they want to bring back. That's
Yeah,
what they
right.
want to
Jeez.
Wow.
everything. Anyway,
So how psyched are you for you know, your little daughter growing up with Donald Trump in office right now?
fortunately, her memories won't develop
Yeah,
until
true.
a little
Like,
bit later.
you didn't
Well,
have to have like an awkward
Unless you
conversation
hope that she
with
develops quicker.
her. Oh god.
Yeah.
All right.
Is that what they also meant? They
I
just
think
want her
breasts and
to
memories
develop?
usually
So,
correlate.
so breasts and memories?
Sorry.
Wow.
That's what they call a callback in comedy, right?
Right, yeah.
Mike was telling me about comedy earlier.
Yeah.
And
It sounds like it.
and how like when you
You're
say a joke
schooling her?
again, it's a good technique.
Yeah, that's
Called a
It's
callback.
not really that good of a technique, actually. It's usually pretty hacky.
Oh.
Yeah, dude.
It's weird though because it's always funny, and I don't know why.
It's because if the first thing was funny, they remember it and it feels good. And usually people like when I saw it done at like specials and stuff growing up, it was the callback was always like in the closer. So the closer already had the big laugh, and then they tag it with a callback, and that's like
it has to be. You have to have like people like laughing already. You can't just like do it. You know what I mean?
Right,
that's,
yeah.
Well,
That's
but I
the
like
tag.
people. And I'm sure this is hacky too, because or whatever hacky means in this day and age. But like, I know it's a cheap laugh, but I kind of like I fall for it whenever a comedian does a callback, like a meta callback, where it's like some joke went poorly, and they're like, "Hey, remember when we were all laughing about child molestation? That was a good time."
Yeah. I do.
Like, I don't mind that at
Do you
all.
do that,
Like,
Mike?
I've done that before.
No, Mike gets laughs. Like he just gets laughs straightforward.
No, I don't. I bomb all the fucking time.
Is
Fine.
Mike Moran like a good comedian, Eric?
I like him a lot. That's why. That's
means
probably why he's
no.
friends with
I
me,
like him.
Some newbie.
Well, I like him, you know. I wouldn't be able to.
But you know,
That means no, I'll never go anywhere.
Well, here's the thing, Mike. When I've seen, like, I've had me and Mike book a lot of shows together. Any show I've booked independently, I put Mike on, and more often than anybody else, I get people like ever come up to me a lot after shows, and they'll freely, the ones who are not in comedy, will comfortably tell me, you know, which ones of my friends sucked and which they liked. I'm like, dude, they're all my friends. You don't have to like shit on. And it's always like Mike Moran was my favorite. I want to see Mike. I want to see Mike. Blah blah blah.
Oh,
absolutely.
Stop.
Mike.
Let's just saying that because I blow him.
Doesn't everybody?
Yeah, that would be.
Me.
I should just. You guys should do a podcast.
Nah,
Nah.
just kidding.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that
No,
killed
I'm
me.
always trying to get
man.
Sue to do. I'm always trying to get Sue to do shit like this. I think she has a
Where's-
personality.
Yes. Where's Sue's Cougar Beat? I want that
She's,
magazine.
Yeah, dude, I know.
I think she's developed well.
Shut up. I know Sue's Cougar Beat. I totally need to do that. Like, I kind of got like a little sidetracked with being on tour for like 6 fucking months straight. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, just opening up for every legend in punk. It's not like a big
I know.
deal.
I mean, what
or
can I say?
anything.
What can I fucking say? Like, I mean, like
Getting written up in
I don't
countless
know.
magazines.
I do not know. I do not know how I got to do all this cool shit, and like, I can't explain it. So, yeah, it's awesome. I'm not gonna like try to be like humble or weird, you know, but
Yeah.
like, you know, I mean, dude, it's fucking rad. I don't know why I get to do all this stuff. Maybe because I work my ass off. Maybe.
That should be it because you worked your ass off.
You know.
That's really cool. And you guys have been getting like written up. What was the big? I mean, I'm just blanking on. I read the article, but what was the big publication?
Was it Newsweek? Yeah, no, I mean, like they came to one of our shows. And like I didn't even know that they were from Newsweek. Because like for some reason I pictured people from Newsweek being like old and wearing trench coats and having like hats with like a little card in it that says press or something like that.
They have those big old timey cameras.
Yeah,
with
they're
flash
like
bulbs.
you know?
You're dating the king, the Prince of England. Are you dating Prince Edward?
This new
But like
punk rock fad, the war on women.
yeah,
Is it true that you've corresponded with a homosexual?
I totally correspond with
Singing songs
homosexuals.
about this.
I do have taste, you know.
this new fad, abortion. It's quite the thing. What all the Bombas are doing.
Leave the nation.
But yeah, no, I mean, like, I don't know.
Women can talk. This just
it's like really. It's
I
really
don't know.
cool.
Women can talk.
Like, I don't know. I mean, it's weird because like all my relatives that like I know voted for Trump are all
Right.
like, "We're so proud of you." Oh, look, and they're sharing it on their Facebook. Like, look, my niece is in Newsweek, and I'm like, did you guys even read the piece? Like, have you ever like listened to my band? You know that we scream about like having abortions and like talking about getting raped and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like and I don't know, but yeah, I'm in a famous
Like we
magazine.
support the war on women. I don't know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
We're all for it. They just take everything.
War on women now. That is something I can get behind. But yeah, I don't know.
I'm
But
pretty sure Trump supporters aren't pro-rape, though.
okay, yeah, well, I think.
That's,
they're definitely-
if there's
yeah,
one
they-
thing, it may not be pro-rape,
yeah.
definitely
I
anti-consent.
mean, they're definitely like pro calling Mexicans rapists. So I guess since they think Mexicans are bad, I guess they think rape must be bad, right? I don't know.
Well, you don't do any.
If that's how you have to figure it out, then
Mexican
you still
stuff.
We don't. We know. No, we actually do have a song about
Really?
yeah, called Diana La Cazadora.
Oh yeah, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Is it about? Wait, I don't know. All I heard was
it's
Mexican
about the women.
rape. Is it about the casualties?
It's about women in Juarez, Mexico.
Yeah.
Like
They're gonna make a Rambo movie about it.
like basically going vigilante justice
Oh wow.
on like rapist dudes
Yeah.
and stuff.
Say, oh wow, I'm still
They
in
honestly
fucking
like
interviewee. I know about that.
the next Rambo
Friends.
movie actually might be about that.
Really, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Like Sylvester Stallone goes to Mexico and kills all the rapists and
Oh, really?
traffickers and shit. Yeah.
Well, that's cool. I wish like they would make like Rambo like a lady.
They
for that
should.
one.
That
Like
should be the
Rambo.
reboot. It should be like Lady
because
Rambo.
like that's like what it is in real life.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, they should totally make that. It should be
Yeah.
like a woman Rambo like rises up and kills everybody.
Lady Rambo. She could wear like a pink gun. She got like a pink gun and everything. Like a pink headband, right? Remember wore a headband? I don't know.
Yeah, he
Like,
did.
yeah. I don't know.
God, they just cockwashed the whole thing. They don't wash. They actually whitewashed it and they cockwashed it.
Washed.
That's really fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know anything about this, so I'll have to do some research.
Weirdly,
and get
Rambo
back to you
started as
Research
like a
and come
left-wing,
back.
like,
Yeah, no, I'm gonna don't worry. I'm gonna get back to you angrily and be like, don't worry. There's gonna be a Facebook post about this.
Okay.
Just don't you worry.
The Facebook post about everything.
Yeah.
Although
yeah,
I shouldn't be complaining, like, because I've been reading everything, and the fact that I would be like, I haven't like freaked out or anything, especially online, but I'm definitely the person who, if nobody else is freaking out, badly freak out. But I think everyone
Yeah.
else's outrage is keeping me centered, where I'm just like, okay,
Oh
okay,
yeah.
as long as
I
it's
do-
being
I know what you mean.
expressed. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think I can relate, like, because a lot of people have like said stuff like a lot more eloquently than I feel like I could have.
Yes, me too.
I
Big time.
consent with like, dang, like I don't know. I can, like the one thing that I'm angry about is like the like, basically everybody on the left is like trying to rip each other to shreds. Well, not that this is a new thing,
Yeah.
yeah.
about like why this happened and like what we should do and what the causes were and like, oh, you
Right.
don't care enough about poor whites or blah blah blah. I'm like, I don't know. Anyway, so whatever. It's
Is what it is.
honestly, like, I think I like got past I'm not like a stress eater. Mike will tell you this, right?
Yeah. She
But-
eats like nothing ever.
But I was like, but the only thing that was making me feel better was eating like 6,000 calories of garbage food for like a couple days. It really helped for like a
Hmm.
couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
well, well, that's. Oh, yeah.
I would like, I'd eat like a whole thing of hummus and pita,
Right.
and I'd be like, oh, I feel better for 30 seconds.
Right.
you
How is
know?
that garbage food? That's like, to me, that's a
Yeah, I
healthy
know.
snack.
That's garbage food for Sue.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay. How I'd eat like a cheeseburger into McNuggets. How about that? That's
Yeah.
kind of garbage food. I eat that
That's
stuff all the
relatable.
time. But I did eat a whole thing of hummus and pita when you weren't even around.
Really?
Yeah, a
What's that
whole thing, an
Wow.
entire thing.
Wow.
You know.
Jesus. Well, you know what? The that last open mic that I was very sad at, and I got very angry, and I just started cussing out the crowd, and just going back and forth with them. I basically turned the two drunk Irish guys on the drunk dry heaving guy, cussing each other out. No, it was great. It was really fun. And no, it ended up being a blast, but like it was like the guys who were heckling ammo because they're saying nonsense things. I was throwing it back at them, but the problem was they were the only people paying attention. So there's no one to laugh at me messing with the hecklers.
Right. So it's like you're just
so it's literally just 2 against 1. Like I couldn't even. I didn't have a crowd to get behind me.
Were they like keeping up with you though?
Yes and no, because what would happen was, and here was a joke I made eventually, because like I would say something like an actual joke on the spot, and they would reply by going like, "It's your haircut," and so they do stuff like that a bunch. That was probably their most coherent of it. The rest were just like they'd repeat a word I said and then add a couple words that didn't really make sense, but in a tone like they were coming back with something. So then I told them, I was like, "Oh, you got a bunch of quarter jokes, just quarter jokes. You're almost like blah, blah, blah. And like, but they seem to satisfy them. I don't know if you ever argue with 2 people, they just agree with each other, and you can't win. There's nothing you can do. I recorded the whole thing. I'm never going to listen to. I'm going to listen to it, but like,
nice.
Oh my god!
Angry.
You might need to listen to it.
So, but like, that was the whole thing with that was at the end of it. I was just like, I told them, I was like, listen, I could have made you laugh, and you would have barely had to pay attention. Like I could have, like you would have had a good time, and then that's when they told me I should do more molestation jokes, or just some at least. But here's the thing with that. This is why I brought it back to that, was because a comic there, a friend of mine who's conservative, and he was like, he wanted to do, and we've been talking about how he can do alternative Trump view jokes and like almost not exactly pro, but like how he can talk about his earnest political beliefs without getting like by the comedy community on Facebook. And so the way we've been discussing it, and my suggestions are always like, find a way beliefs, but like be aware that it's like when you talk about like when I talk about like making jokes about my wife or my kid or whatever, I still have to at least start out as the butt of the joke.
Oh, exactly.
Like,
yeah.
I'm gonna be the one who's like shitting on other people. It's the rule of, and this is a stupid rule as a blanket, but for this case, it's like make fun of yourself before you make fun of somebody else.
Oh, sure.
So
that's exactly it. That's called it's called like punching up. Sorry, well, right? Like
yes and no. That's
or punching yourself in the face is also
yes, it's just punching self. Yeah, so like, you're right. That's some joke. I don't know the exact time to use it, but a line I want to use at some point is when I make fun of myself and bomb, I'll just be like, "Don't worry, I was punching up." And but so like my suggestion is like, you voice your own views. I don't care if I disagree with him very much on all these things, but I'm not going to tell him not to be honest about his beliefs. Like I think that starts a dialogue and causes more change than just everybody being told to shut up if you don't agree with the majority.
God, yeah.
But like, so he's been doing a thing where he will just like, he's been doing better with Trump jokes, being pro-Trump in front of an anti-Trump audience, than I've seen anti-Trump jokes in front of an anti-Trump audience.
Really?
And I heard a theory, the reason why these Trump jokes aren't really working is because it is already too big of a punchline that your observation on it just falls flat, because you can't top grabbing by the pussy. You can't start there and build it higher somehow. That's insane.
Yeah. That's kind of like why, like, did you watch SNL this week?
Oh yeah. I was going to ask you guys about that for sure.
Yeah. So what do you, okay. I thought it was pretty good, but I didn't think it was like as good as like a lot of people thought. Like, I kind of thought Dave Chappelle, like sort like I don't know, like his monologue. I'm sorry, man. Like I didn't really like it, and like
Yeah.
I also thought like the joke about like him staying in Trump Tower and like being able to like grab the housekeeper by the pussy, like I mean like
That's what
is that like I mean I get the joke, you know,
Yeah.
but like
Yeah.
I also
I
like
can actually shed
don't
some-
I
He probably should have phrased that a different
but
way.
I don't like think it was like good, and also like his jokes are all about like his jokes had this like weird this tenor of like, hey, well, I'm rich now, I got mine, so fuck y'all,
Yeah, well, that's
you know, and
yeah. I can shine light on this. I can shine light on all of this.
yeah.
So that monologue, first off,
'Cause are you rich now?
I've always been rich. Let's
Okay.
not. No, I'm just kidding. I've
Dude,
always
his dad's like the most famous smooth jazz guitarist.
Oh God!
This
Oh,
side.
you
he's in
told
the
me
top
that.
40.
It's a good thing I love
It's
smooth
fine.
jazz.
Well, oh no, so a lot of people are the phrase that people are using with the monologue is it's one of the greatest SNL monologues of all time. I don't know if you've ever watched an SNL monologue,
No.
but it is hot garbage almost every single time.
Yeah.
It's like
I guess you're probably right.
this is one of the first monologues that got a few big laughs. Like that's like every once
It's
in a
just
while,
such a
even
good
like
stand-up.
you know,
Like just keeping everything in rhythm. Just the way he does stand-up is just always so good. You know,
like,
like no matter what
he's one of those
saying,
people.
it's
And just seeing him in sketches, the pre-recorded sketches, he is the guy who he could never write a joke in his life and just play a character and have no underlying jokes and everything he says is still funny. But the
Right.
fact that
Yeah.
he's also a prolific joke writer is the thing
Yeah.
that just takes it to another level.
Well,
So
kind of like that Walking Dead sketch. Like there were no jokes in that at all.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, that was
It was just
all
like-
fan service.
Yeah.
That was fan
Yeah,
service.
yeah,
Remember,
totally.
that was
It-
member
you know,
bearers.
I'm not-
If you watch
I'm not hating on that, you know, but
Well, so here's the thing about his. So I saw him. I saw him about a month ago do a drop in at the Cellar, and
Really?
he did 45 minutes, just like out of
What's the
nowhere,
Cellar?
right? And like, so this was one of the first times.
DC
is that in
Huh?
is that in DC?
or New York.
No, the Comedy Cellar in New York, like the
Oh.
McDougal Street, like the theme song
Okay.
of Louis Comedy Cellar.
Yeah, okay.
And so he does 45, and it was unreal. He was drunk off his balls,
Wow.
but it was for the first time in a long time it seemed like a coherent set, because a lot of times he's just been going up and just talking for the past. He does drop-ins for the past like 6-7 years, and it's just whatever's on his mind. This felt like the first 5 minutes were kind of rambly, but then he did like a serious 40 with through lines, with bits, with it made sense as the beginnings of an hour-long special. This is before he was announced to do SNL. So in that, and then of course he did lots of drop-ins between then and SNL, but like, so that he came out and his tone was, it was right after Grabbed by the Pussy, and he had a field day with it. And he said, he came out and was like, Trump is done, Trump is finished, no one's gonna vote for Trump.
Oof.
So what he was doing was he took a sympathetic tone from Trump based on the fact that Trump is one of the few people like Chappelle and like Kim Kardashian who had just been robbed like a few days before. And so his tone was compassionate for Trump as a celebrity who everyone is going to be looking at forever and who's never going to have like who he was like Trump's life is destroyed basically.
Okay,
That's the tone.
so
So everything he wrote was
Okay.
under the tone of Trump just lost, so he's being contrarian, and it's extra funny because
Wow.
all of us
Oh,
have a
wow,
collective
that's a-
sigh of relief. Yes,
that's really-
it was
that's really
so
interesting.
different. Yeah, and then
Wow.
so because I heard that joke, that exact joke you referenced, I heard him do slightly different wording, but it was like under the tone of he's just a wacko. Like it's like how now
Right.
we talk about like George W. Bush painting pictures of puppies, and we're like, haha,
Right.
silly
Yeah.
old guy, like whatever. But like if he did that in office, we'd still be like, fuck you, I don't want to joke about him. He's a piece of shit. I hate him. Warmongering son of a bitch. Like
right, sure.
it's a whole
Oh my god,
different
that
tone.
actually
Makes
this kind of makes me want to go back and listen to it again. Like
Yeah.
from
He had to
the
change everything the day before. He spent a month
Yeah.
working on that set and then had to just change the whole thing. But I did love, performances aside, I did love that election night sketch for the simple like tone, like because Chappelle does this really well, where he figures out the take that is so obvious, but for some reason no one else has said it yet. And his take of course America voted for Trump.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
older black people have known this for years. Like, what did you expect was different? Like, why are you surprised?
That must have been like a tough
what?
episode of SNL to write, because they had to like basically start from scratch on Wednesday.
Yeah.
When everybody was fucking depressed and hungover, I'm sure.
Right. Well, we also didn't watch the second half. It was probably crap.
I have it all on my tape.
Yeah, but whoever watches after the news.
Do you guys ever? Yeah. Do you guys are you guys liking? I want honest take before I give whatever. Are you liking Weekend Update this year? Years or how?
This is the only episode I've watched.
No, well, I watched one other episode. I watched I want to say the one, I don't know, the one with the other good one, the one with Black Jeopardy.
Oh yeah, that was really fun.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, that was a good one. But I also loved the very last sketch, the one with the cat videos or the dog videos or whatever.
I don't think I saw that.
Yeah, you did. It was like these with German or French people trying to it was like America's funniest cat videos, but it was like these two like humorless French women, I want to say.
Oh yeah, that was pretty funny. Yeah, and the David Pumpkins thing.
Oh, David S. Pumpkins.
So David S. Pumpkins. So the year is almost, from what I understand, almost all like millennial age people. Like they've kind of like cycled out, and the two showrunners are the first ones who I believe came from, not showrunner, head writers are the ones the first ones who've come from comedy, from sketch comedy on the internet.
Really?
And so like their writing staff is mostly based on people who got their start, it appears, like in in the internet age. And so like that's why I'm hating some of the writing, but every once in a while they knock it out of the park. So like every David S. Pumpkins, like where it's all like it's random and wacky and what is this, and we're creating a weird or a intentionally bad sketch so our actors in the sketch can comment on how weird it is. Like that's so typical internet millennial humor, which is amazing when it's done right, David S. Pumpkins, and abysmal when it's the party funk bus coming through the McDonald's drive-through and every character's wackier than the last, and there are no jokes. The only jokes are the counter people going weird. It's like, okay, it is. You created this. You made this happen.
There was one sketch on the David S. Pumpkins episode that was so unfunny that I was just so fucking confused. And it was like it was like a family, and they were talking about doing a song for like the like the talent show or something like that, and it was like and it was like early on in the episode. And I was like, "What the fuck? Like, what is this some meta humor that I'm not understanding? Like, I don't know. Like,
it's probably meta humor that you are understanding, but it's not funny.
Yeah,
that's probably what it is.
It was so seriously unfunny that like I was just extremely confused by it. But I feel like that particular episode, like
I like in that kind of humor to. I think that kind of humor is similar to like in baseball, where that humor is always, that type of humor is the random non sequitur type. It's always, or meta stuff, it's always swinging for home runs, which in actual baseball, but most of the time you're going to strike out or pop out.
It's not a great strategy.
Exactly. But when it works, it's amazing. So like, the other thing with Weekend Update was, I know Michael Che spent the off season stand-up and going on comedians podcasts all in New York. Colin Jost has been doing lots of stand-up. He stepped down as head writer to focus on Weekend Update, and ever since all that, they are absolutely crushing it. Almost like I'm really, really happy to see that. It's such a stark contrast between like you have amazing Weekend Update and then these occasional amazing sketches, and then it's just like stinker after stinker after stinker.
Right.
Hopefully I look at it like I watch SNL like most people watch a sports team.
I can see this.
It's like it's fine.
I can see this. I can see this. I love that you're like such like a freaking insider comedy dude. You know, like I love that. I love that you're a super nerd about it.
I am.
You know,
I try to be so much.
It makes me happy to see people, like fucking working their ass off, or I don't know, like it's like I'll be like, oh, why is this song so good? I have to learn everything about this song. I got to learn how to play every part in it. Maybe I can figure out why it's so good, like shit like that, and so it makes me happy to see, because like I feel like some people are like natural great songwriters or something like that, and I'm definitely not one of those people, but I still don't, that doesn't mean I'm not good. It just means I gotta like work real hard at it,
I'm in the same boat as you. It was always about how much work I put into the song that made it good. And I have friends who like, they just write something and they're like, yeah, this was the first thing I wrote.
It just came to me in the night, and I woke up in the morning and the song was just there, and I'm like, shut up, you asshole. Liar! Are you lying? I hope you're lying. You're not lying. Oh, this is true. Fuck! Now I feel even worse. Anyway,
there's a band. They're kind of they're from DC. They're kind of like I don't know if they're active right now, but like they were very big in the pop punk world for a minute, called A Place in Time, and I played a bunch of shows with them, and they were like, they might have played the show I played with War on Women before you joined the band, but anyway, they were all their songs. It was a long time ago. It was lifetimes ago. It was I think 2012 maybe. But but A Place in Time, like they had these two co-songwriters, and all their songs were like, it was pop punk. It was rooted in pop punk, but it had all these crazy time signatures. Like I don't know if they had like one hook once ever. Everything else was just parts. So it was like movements, like in a symphony or something.
Oh, wow.
And beautiful songs, amazing songs. And I was like, I would ask them, so I was friends with them, I was like, how do you do that? Like, how do you put all that together? And they're like, well, one day we were sitting around and I said, like, how about we do this? And then he like mouths half the song. We had this. And there's like, all right, and then we wrote the lyrics that night, and then we're good to go. I was like, all right.
Yeah.
I can't even write a 4-chord song that easy.
Is that just like a prerequisite for being a rock star? Is that you just constantly write music?
No.
Like, how does every band have like a billion songs?
Because I don't know. I don't know if they all do. I think
it's like, oh, we have 12 here. We got like 5 extra we have like a few outtakes and.
I don't know.
I wrote for
every fucking song for me at almost every band I've ever been in where it's like a collaborative band. Sometimes I've been in bands with these natural songwriter a-holes, that just like, okay, here's my 5 new songs, and then they just like show us the parts, But like every band I'm in, like, where like the band writes, like, collaborates on the songwriting is really fucking hard.
Right.
I think I've been in some good bands, but it's not easy.
Yeah. I've been in a couple bands that did it like that, and those songs came out more natural, but it was harder to like, it was hard, I don't know, whatever. But when I wrote all the songs, like the band I'm in now, like for every record that my band's put out, I wrote close to 50 songs. But 45 of them were dog shit. And then we kept the 5 that were good.
Well, that's
so
the
it
thing,
was
though,
like
if you can do that, like even just like, and if it's shit, is like really good to do.
Yeah, closing is always the best.
Yeah, like like I have a problem with that. I'm huge like self-editor. You know what I mean? I feel like if I don't finish something in one shot, like odds are I'll go back to it and hate it.
Yeah.
So, I feel like the more weed I smoke, the less I do that. But then I just end up writing a lot of dog shit. Whatever.
When I drink, because I'm not writing too many songs anymore. But like when I drink, I get all these ideas. Same now it works with comedy. And I love comedy so much more because you actually get feedback. Oh, and it turns out I'm actually more naturally better at comedy than I am. Not to say I'm good or anything, but like I'm more naturally better at comedy than I am with music. Like just with like between hard times and even stand up for that matter.
Yeah.
Or like miles and miles and miles times, big, like more success in comedy in whatever it's been 9 months than I did in 15 years of playing music.
Well, yeah, I guess it's hard to get better. Like what are you going to be like? Well, it's hard to like give like, even if like you're like somebody like really good is like listening to your stuff, then what are they going to be like? Oh, well, I really think that if you use like the A minor ninth chord more often, you know what I mean? Like I don't know, like like I feel like I don't know. There is a craft of songwriting, but I don't really understand it. That's why I have, you know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
like why I feel like I
Yeah.
just have to like fucking learn every song I think is cool. You know, so maybe it'll like drop into my head somehow.
Yeah,
You know, if
osmosis.
somebody would tell me the algorithm, I would like love that. You know,
Yeah, that's how I definitely looked at it. Where I would learn a song that I'd like. Oh, I like that type of part in a song, and
Yeah.
I'd learn it, and then I just figure out how to transpose it into like I'd figure out what makes that part. Like say pop punk, I'd be like, I want to do like a bouncy part. And I'd be like, all right, what songs make me bounce? Like learn them, and then be like, oh, that's what it is. That's the combination.
Exactly.
And then
I was like, oh, I need to write a thrashy part. Hang on. Anthrax, Iron Reagan. Let me listen. Okay, cool. All right. I got it. You know,
dude, I want to make a hardcore, like a classic hardcore punk band. Song is just like chromatic. Every part is just chromatic notes.
that sounds
Just
cool.
our chromatic chords.
Okay.
Yeah,
like that.
because I want that so bad, and I only half because I think it would be a funny concept, but so much because I'm like, that actually sounds really fucking bad. Like just.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, there's a couple songs I can think of that are like that. Like, you know, like I'm thinking like more metal hardcore, you know, stuff than like thrashy stuff, but whatever, you know. A lot of War Women stuff is really chromatic, and I'm like, Brooks, how do you do this? And he's like, well, you see, it's like this key. I don't know. He like went to school for music and stuff, so like he like knows his shit.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shut up, nerd.
You're the jock in the band.
Yeah, kind of.
Get out of here with your books and your learning, asshole.
I'm hungry.
Mike, do you have any science behind your comedy? How do you? This is such a hacky, shitty. Do you I don't want to say the words, but the words are like, where do your material come from? Like, how do you? What's the process in your brain usually, or processes?
Could you take a little bit longer asking that question? I don't know if it's. Could you be more specific? Yeah. I don't know. I don't have one honestly anymore. I think it's more just trial and error. I usually try to write one joke a day. And I mean, it's there was a time when I thought a lot about it, you know, like I really took the time to like really sit down and think hard about like what I wanted to do and what could be funny and like what's not really being done, you know, and like why are some things funny that people don't pick up on, you know. And I haven't done that for a long time, but like I don't know. I definitely try to pay attention to like things that are funny and we don't like normally think of as funny, you know.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole. Everything I always think of is just honesty, and then go from there. And sometimes honesty's funny, sometimes it's not. But like that's the only thing that I like can stay anchored on. I think about it way too much. But so when did you start to like kind of think about stuff less? Because I'm starting to do that, and I can't tell because things are coming more naturally, and bits are coming together quicker.
Once you're kind of like happy with, you know, I think where your comedy is and where it's going, like once you're kind of in that groove and kind of know what you want to do, I think then you can just kind of just write, you know. I mean, ultimately I think it should just be like what you think is good.
That's you and, gave me that,
but then again
that really helps.
And then you can get into a rut and then start like thinking about it more, you know. People don't like give enough credence to the art of like really thinking hard about what's funny and what's not and why, you know.
That's good. I just worry that like for me, I'm just like, oh, is this actually connecting more naturally, or am I fucking up and getting lazy? And so like sometimes I just have to like, I want to know what everybody else's experience was, because you know what, I grew up not caring what anybody thought about me. But it turned out that was only because I had really high self-esteem. And then when I started to have things not going right for me, then I was like, oh, it turns out I really do care what people think. I just always assumed everyone thought I was awesome. So like, never mind.
Yeah, I think I experienced that like the day I started kindergarten. Like, not everybody's going to adore me constantly, no matter what.
Yeah,
you know, it's a process. Like, I mean, I don't think you personally are lazy, but it's always, you know, your own standards. Like, I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Well, those
I kind of feel like with comedy, like, you know, like it's hard to tell. I don't know. I don't like do comedy, but I feel like I watch enough of it. Like it's like, dude, even if you're really funny, that doesn't necessarily mean people are gonna laugh. You know, it's like
Yeah.
there's so many things, other things happening. You know, it's
Right.
like there's so many variables. Like I don't know. Like it's like if like you tell a joke for the first time and nobody laughs, it's like okay, does that mean that joke is terrible? Does that mean I told it wrong? Like, or does it mean that like everybody's in a bad mood, or the
Yeah, it's
person
hard to
before us
tell.
was really racist and everybody feels weird?
Yeah,
You
it's really
know,
hard to tell
like
sometimes. It takes a long time. I think ultimately kind of, at least for me, like I kind of just get a feel down, and you can kind of like decide what material is going to work like right before you go on stage. And
Yeah, that's
ultimately
why.
it's just
Oh my
like
god,
getting in a zone or something. I don't know. It's hard to tell. That's
uh, anytime going later on and you're like, okay, that got a laugh, that got a laugh, whatever, and then you can figure out like that second
right.
Autobar show we did where we literally had comics who went up early running around to tell the other comics, here's what has been working, here's what hasn't been
oh,
working,
that's
kind
nice.
of thing.
Really?
That's
No, it
nice.
is. Well, this that particular crowd was like for more than 10 seconds. If your joke lasted longer than 10 seconds, they weren't laughing.
Right. Yeah.
They
Really?
wanted a couple.
Yeah.
They who have been familiar with the comedy environment, and so they were
Oh,
kind of like expect. It seemed like they were expecting setup, punch, possibly tag, but they were getting
oh,
like
Right.
stories with jokes in them, kind of thing, which is the a lot of
Yeah.
comics are doing now. And so
Huh.
once like the host bombed his first set, bombed his next set, and his third set, he came up and did practically one-liners and did really well.
Who was
I
the
was like,
host?
my buddy Sergio Mazzatelli from
Oh, okay.
Pennsylvania. He's like a
Okay.
professional middler. So he knows what he's doing. It's just like it just was really funny to watch him bomb.
That's funny.
It's like a bad midler.
I love. I think of that myth. Sorry. What is
All right. So I think we're gonna go get some food.
So good catching up with you guys. Oh, were we recording this?
Yeah,
All
totally.
right.
man.
Well, I love you
I'm
guys.
excited to see you on Wednesday.
And
You
everyone
too, man.
else
Thanks
who's
so much for having
watching,
us.
come on Wednesday to the Auto Bar at 8 o'clock. All right. Have a good night. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.